guys, welcome back. This is Sandra with Trading Made Simple, and today we're going to talk about analyzing your trade before, during, and even looking at a trade and how it's going to look a week from now based on the price. So let's jump right into it. When we go to the Analyze tab, it has connected the Add Simulated Trade, the Risk Profile, Probability Analysis, Think Back, and Fundamentals. And no, I'm not going to go through all that with you today. We're just going to go through the two tabs that I use seriously, 90% of the time, almost 100 actually, is the Add Simulated Trade and the Risk Profile. So the first thing I want to do is act like we were looking at a chart, and I'm just looking at Square on a 4-hour, and I'm thinking, you know what? Oh, maybe he's going to go up. So instead of going over to trade, I'm going to go to analyze and see what that looks like. So when I hit the add simulated trade, it brings me to the trade grid. So I can go ahead and toggle through and say, well, do I want an option 26 days from now, or maybe I want a quick trade. I think it's just going to go up higher, and I want to get in and get out. So if that's the case, what you could do is, and you could always, too, by the way, look at different strike prices to see how they profit or lose with time decay and or, how much profit you're going to be making, buying a 64 or 71 delta call versus a 24 or 30 delta call. So this is interesting because a lot of people they want to buy the cheaper options, and you can really get a good sense using this tool. Is it more profitable for me to buy a more expensive option versus the cheaper options? And so we're going to go through that right now. By the way, if you're enjoying some of this content, please hit the likes up and the thumbs up and the subscribe. Really appreciate it. Get the algos out there. So now we're going to go ahead and pick let's say a 64 delta call. And let's go ahead and pick, just for an example, a 30. No, let's do a 25. It's 195 bucks. Let's do that one. Oops, I keep double clicking. Okay, so we have two down there. And now we're going to go to the risk profile. And if both of them are checked, it's going to be giving you the risk profile for both. So you want to make sure that you're only checking the box that you want to look at first. So we're going to take a look at the 64, 65 delta call that we first looked at. So the toggles are open, which means that the strike price is going to be, if it was on a trading day right now, it'd be fluctuating the price of that option. And so we're going to keep our little cursor there. And you'll see that this dotted line, they keep this price slice right on top of where the price is, so you can see it clearly. So here we are, and so if the stock moves up, okay, you kind of see here where your break even is, and when you start to make money, when the stock is going in a higher direction, because we got calls. And what happens if you go in a lower direction? And right here is a little profit and loss analysis on how much you could be profiting as well as loss capital. So this trade, as an example, is your worst case scenario is $840, and your best case scenario is probably infinity, but you get my drift. And what ends up happening is if we take a look at that and say, well, I think based on support and resistance, I think this guy's going to 205. You could see on our, oh, you know what? Hey, real quick, this risk profile tab has two calendars, and you're responsible for putting in the correct date. So on here, I need to put in today's date. This is for how you want to see your profit and loss based on the date that you select here, okay? And this calendar is what I need to program this guy, this analysis diagram, to show me what this option looks like with a May 28th expiration. So that's a Friday option, so it expires on the 29th. It gets calculated. So now there we go. So now we're here. So please don't forget this, because this is something that you have to do. It always defaults on the wrong dates, unfortunately, I've noticed. So you need to put the date that you want to analyze, and then you want to make sure that the top one, is programmed to what your expiration date is for your option. All right, so now that we got that clarified, so let's see, on the 23rd, I'm here. If it goes up to 205, your profit's 359.19 on today's date. If it took a week to get up to 205, your profit would be $175.89. If you let it expire in this position and it didn't move or variate from here, at expiration, your profit would be $166.18. So that's how that works. And on the flip side, because this is where your break-even point, this is your break-even point because we purchased, in this scenario, a 65 delta call. So let's real quick see what a 25 delta call looks like. So here you are. You purchased it for $195. And when you start, this is where you are in the diagram. And then as the stock price moves up to 205, you're still at a negative 129. Okay. That's for a week in advance. Let me get today's date so we could do a side-by-side comparison. So here's your 25 delta call. Move it to 205. You're at a 167.30 profit. If you move this a week ahead and it decayed and it was still at 205, you now would be a negative 128.88 negative loss to your capital. The blue is if it expires in that position on the 29th, you would be at a loss at 195. Okay, so let's go back and let's do the 60 call so you can get a clear vision of that. Today's date, 65 call. We're here. It goes to 205 on today's date. You're at a $362 profit. If we move this up a week and you're still at 205, you're still at $188 profit. So that gets to show you basically why, well, it gets to show you a lot of things. Specific to this, it gets to show you visually what your profit and loss is automatically, as well as in the future, how would this look? If you only wanted to keep this trade for a couple days, you could just see exactly that. I just want to keep it till Wednesday, and I'm hoping it gets to 205. Then your profit's at 241.91 or so, 253 if I can keep my hand still. 249, there you go. The other thing that you can do on this, which is really cool, is you can go down here to your price slices. And the nice thing about this is that you can actually move these bands right here and say, you know what? What's it going to look like if I'm only willing to go down to the support area of 197 as an example only? So here you are. Let me make sure I got my dates good. That's the only toughest thing that you'll just have to try to train yourself on, is to make sure that these guys are in the proper dates, okay, of what you're trying to analyze. Because you won't be, garbage in, garbage out. If you don't have it programmed into the right information, then you're not analyzing it correctly and you could be all skewed off. So, so here we are, and then we could see on today's date, if we took this trade and it went down to 197.97, your loss would be 125 if you program that in as your stop loss. And then you can also move this guy and say, well, I'm hoping he gets to, the 205 mark as an example that we were saying. It's really hard when you're using your mouse to try to get it on the right thing. So just know, if you look down here at your price slices, you could go like this and go, okay, so this guy, I only want to go to 198.02. Let's make that 198 exactly. I could go ahead and put that in, and then you can kind of tab out of that, and then you can kind of see now what your theta is worth, your vega, what your profit and loss would be if he got to the 198 area. It's automatically in there. I don't have to keep shifting in there. So you can already build, right? You could build your trade right here. And let's say on this guy, instead of keeping him right where the strike price is at, let's say, because we want to be smart about our decisions. Let's say that we want him to get down to about 199 before we purchase this, because we think it's gonna go down just a little bit and hit a support MA, or a support area before he jumps up to the 205. So we can actually put this down at 199. And then we can show our profit on this slice by saying, okay, we want to get him to 205, but I can't get it exactly. So I'm going to go right over here and put 205 as my slice. And now you've just set up your trade. You're going to program the bot to say, hey, when it gets to 199, you're going to purchase this call. And if it gets to 198, I'm out. And if it gets to 205, I'm out with my profit. Okay? And then instead of looking up here, you could look right over here and goes, well, if it goes to 205, my profit's 361. So when we go down to 199, I'm saving myself $60 by waiting for the price if I'm analyzing my chart correctly, and I know it's going to go to 199 before it goes up to 205, then I'm saving myself $60 by waiting for it and programming the bot to get into my trade at 199. Okay, that's an extra $60 when it gets up there. And then your 198, you can see what your loss is, right? If it stops me out at 198, you're right there at $120 and $73 loss on this date. Well, what's it look like then if it's on the 19th? And then that information changes for you. So now you can really see that same play that you were thinking about doing. If it was a week from now and you were already in the trade, this is how it would be looking right now. So this is a great tool for you to use, and if you're not using it, you should be, because you really need to get a visual on how your trade looks, and if it's, what are those price levels that you're looking at? Is the trade really worth getting into if I can only go up $1 today? You gotta, if you can see that visually on a chart, it helps you immensely, make decisions. And by the way, right now we're just looking at, one call. Well, how does that all change? If I'm Moneybags over here and I'm buying 5 calls, how does that change? Well, you just go right over here to the price slices and you can see the difference. Now, if when it goes down to the 199 before I buy it, it's going down $297. That's a lot, right? Before it goes back up. Okay, and then if it goes up to the 205 level, just look at your profit and loss. Your profit's going to be 1806. That's a profit. And from where you purchased it, which is right here, if it goes down to 198, then your loss is $603. All right, so now let's do that same example on the other guy. We're going to click that, unclick that. And so now we're here with the same setup with the cheaper option price. And here you go. So if you make it to 205 today, you're at a 161 profit. If you're going to wait till it gets to the 199, you're saving yourself that $19 to go down that far before it goes up. And if you set your stop loss at 198, your loss is $40.32. And when we take a look at that, we're buying this one for $840 and we're purchasing this one for $195. So you can now analyze your trades based on the cheaper option prices versus the more expensive. Now, let's say, because you're not in the habit of using this, let's just say, for example, that you were ready to make a trade. So we're on the trade tab because you're not used to using that analyze tab yet, and you say, you know what, I wanna buy a vertical put spread over here because I think it's going to go down. And you're ready to rock and roll, and you're looking at this going, well, how does that actually, what's that actually mean? Well, what you could do now is go right over here, just right of the gear shift. You're going to right click, and you're going to go to the analyze tab. Hit that, and now you're there. And now you can take a look at your order and see what that vertical spread looks like. Make sure your dates are correct. No, it actually is correct right there. Wow, imagine that. Okay, so now you can see, well, if you stay to the left of this area, you're making money because now we bought a vertical put spread. So we're looking for this stock to go down now in this example. So if it's on this side of the chart going down in price, you could see what your profit is. And if it stays over here at expiration, there's your profit, $61. If you get out of it today, when it goes down, you made $35 profit. You can change how many contracts you buy, and it will automatically change your profit and loss. So you could see, oh, well, now if it goes to 410, I'm making $172 off of that $39 spread. Okay, and again, same with the price slices on this one. Remember, the price slices are over here, so that's what this is dictating. And so you just need to either manually move this to where your analysis is, okay? And if you can't get it correct and you want to exactly just open price slices up, and you could either do it this way that goes, 5 cents a piece, or you can manually put that in at 420 as an example. 420. Have I said that? I'm always picking a stock that's going to the 420s. Here we go. So that's how that works, and you can see what your profit and your loss is. Toot sweet. I mean, it's a great, great tool. And by the way, from here, whatever trade you got going on that you're analyzing, instead of going back to your trade tab to make the deal, and maybe you adjusted it from here. Maybe you said, you know what, I want a $5 wide vertical. If you're doing your adjustments because you're doing your analyzation here, then you could just go right here to the right toggle and say create a duplicate order. So now you don't have to go back to the trade tab and recreate that same trade that you were already analyzing. You could already go here and do the trade. Okay, and this works for, just like what we talked about in the other videos, this works for your gear shift if you want to, program your vertical option to the stock price, etc., just like on that one video. And then, and that's how you would do that. So I certainly hope this was helpful, and if it was, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, get the algos out there to help, so it can get out to more people, to help more people. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave them below. I try to answer all questions. And this is basically how the trade, how you can, analyze your current trade. By the way, I think I forgot to tell you that if you have a current trade that's going on, it's going to be in this window right here. It's not expanded because I don't have a current trade on. But if it did, it will already be checked marked. So you could analyze your trade and see how you're doing on the date that you're looking at it, as well as if you said, well, how is my trade going to be looking in 2 more days, and take a look at it while it's happening. I have to tell you that when I have my portfolio of trades going on, it's so nice to be able to go over here and then say, let me take a look at my positions as an example. And you'll have them all listed here if you have a whole bunch of positions. Or if you were looking at other trades, how do those ones look right now? Let's re-examine those ones. You could even set this, by the way, to your personal watch list. Again, so many tools, so little time. Subscribe, hit the like. See you on the next video.